At Manhattan University, a graduate degree is not out of reach. You'll gain real-world skills, credentials employers value, and connections to New York City's top companies. Choose from their new Master of Science degrees in Healthcare Informatics, Digital Marketing and Analytics, Business Analytics, or Financial Analytics, all built around hands-on learning and industry partnerships. Graduate ready to lead, not just work. Take the next step at manhattan.edu/graduate. Manhattan University. Lead the future.
The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Breaking news.
And the first cabinet secretary to be fired in President Trump's second term. Dominic Carter here with you. The number to reach us live this hour, 800-848-9222. President Trump replacing Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, saying he will nominate Senator Markwayne Mullin as her replacement. The president made the announcement on social media, stating he was pleased to announce that, in his words, the highly respected United States Senator from the great state of Oklahoma, Markwayne Mullin, will become the United States Secretary of Homeland Security effective March 31st. So in just a matter of about 2.5 weeks, give or take. Noem, for her part, took to the stage mere moments after the president announced that she would be replaced, and she didn't touch the issue, but she was talking in general before a crowd.
Agencies, it also includes CBP, ICE, CWMD, which is countering weapons of mass destruction. So some of you may have gone through some of those trainings to help us detect some of the threats here in our homeland, and also some of the trainings that it takes as far as responding to fires and 911 calls in different specific situations. We have intelligence agencies. We also cover FEMA. FEMA is a disaster response agency, but it also is the agency that's entrusted to run the government on our very worst day. If we had a tragedy in this country where we needed someone to step up because our leadership was not able to.
So Noem was playing it very close to the vest, did not mention, at least as of that point, the issue, the controversy that she is being replaced. And as you might imagine, for Senator Markwayne Mullin, as he arrived on Capitol Hill, he was swamped by reporters.
Secretary? No, the president, I still got to communicate, so we'll talk about it moving forward. But I appreciate it, guys.
The president didn't even ask you?
Yeah, the president and I have already talked. Obviously, the statement went out, but we need to talk with the president, and we're going to get on the same page and do what we need to do.
Do you want to make changes at DHS?
When did you
make changes at DHS, Senator?
When did you find out, sir?
A little bit before you guys did.
Do you want the job? Any changes?
Senator, did you expect this?
Guys, I'll talk to y'all before. Let me go.
Do you want the job, Senator?
And as you might imagine, Noem's Democratic rivals are already taking glee in the moment. The governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, telling the outgoing secretary not to let the door hit her on the way out.
Hey, Kristi Noem, don't let the door hit you on the way out. Here's your legacy. Corruption and chaos. Parents and children tear-gassed. Moms and nurses, U.S. citizens getting shot in the face. Now that you're gone, don't think you get to just walk away. I guarantee you, you will still be held accountable.
But you know what, Governor? Let's talk about your legacy, and we'll save that for another day, another time. This breaking news, obviously, across the country that Noem is out, and we're about to start with your telephone calls. This is how CBS covered this matter.
After about 24 hours of speculation, the president, as he likes to do, just made the announcement himself via Truth Social, saying that he was going to be putting Markwayne Mullin, the senator from Oklahoma, in charge of the Department of Homeland Security, and essentially demoting, not firing, but reassigning Kristi Noem to what he described as special envoy for the Shield of the Americas, which he said is a new security initiative in the Western Hemisphere that he plans to announce on Saturday in Florida. This caps several days of controversy over an answer that Kristi Noem gave to senators in a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing the other day, in which she was asked about a $200 million ad campaign starring her that she had produced as Secretary of Homeland Security, in which she urged people living here in the country illegally to self-deport. She was asked if the president knew that she was going to spend that kind of money on that ad campaign. She said yes, the president himself had signed off on it. Well, we began to hear through sources that the president hadn't signed off on it, and that he was, unhappy with the answer that Noem had given. She was already, we understand, on thin ice given the handling of arrests in Minneapolis, Minnesota, over the past couple of months, and then the president announcing just a few minutes ago, Major, that he is indeed replacing her, which is a major piece of news given how reluctant he has been to reassign or fire any cabinet level officials in his second term. As you know better than anyone, Major, he fired a lot of cabinet members in his first term, but this time around he's been much more reluctant to do so.
And the number to reach me right now, 800-848-9222. Let's start with Norman in Brooklyn, line 5. Norman, what's on your mind?
What's on my mind? I mean, listen, there's something going on between Donald Trump and between Kristi Noem. I don't know about it. I mean, for me, it always seemed to me that Kristi was doing her job, and also she's pretty easy on the eyes too, which I enjoyed also on a whole other level. But it's like a lot of corporate decisions. We don't always see them as outsiders of what really was going on between the president and Kristi Noem, but I don't know. It seemed like she was doing her job.
Right, but Norman, before I go to the next call, she ran into a lot of trouble over Minneapolis when she jumped out there, and you would expect for her to defend her officers, defend her agency, but oftentimes, or sometimes I should say, the information the initial facts didn't bear out that way. She's got to walk the plank now. It's as simple as that. Do you know anything? I've always liked Senator Mullen of Oklahoma. He's good with the sound bites. He's quick on his feet. Do you know anything about him, or what do you think is next for the agency?
I don't know anything about this Mullen. I don't know anything about it. I'm going to have to do a little research. I don't know anything about it. This is coming as a surprise to me. I don't know anything about it.
Right. But 48 hours ago, she testifies that the president, that is Kristi Noem, and thank you for the call, Norman. She testifies that the president knew about this $220 million ad campaign, and then the president makes the rounds, according to insiders, calling up Republicans, telling him that he did not approve of this, and that was perhaps the final straw as it relates to Kristi Noem. She was already walking a tightrope, if you will. And so the president announcing that she will have this new job in terms of she'll be moving to special envoy for the Shield of the Americas, which is a new security initiative. The president says in the Western Hemisphere that he's going to announce on Saturday and in Florida, and the president stating that he thanks Kristi Noem for her service at Homeland, pointing out that she did do a great job, and the president says especially she did a great job on the border. That's according to the president of the United States. Dominic Carter here with you again. The number to reach us live right now, 800-848-9222. Let's go to line 4. Mary Beth, Staten Island. What's on your mind, Mary Beth?
Hi, Dominic. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I always had this feeling about Kristi Noem from the very beginning that she took that job, and many people take that job to move ahead. But I just saw written all over her face and her demeanor the fact that she was pushing herself for a bigger job in, 4 years. And I think she made a lot of enemies and a lot of mistakes, and it's no loss as far as I'm concerned that she's not going to be handling the job.
Now, why do you say it's not it's not a loss in particular that she's not going to be at the secretary anymore? Is it personal that you just didn't like her, or what do you base that on?
I base it on the fact that I didn't see sincerity in anything that she did. I think she made a lot of mistakes that the other side pounced on. She was so negative, so nasty. There are people who come to this country, and they do come illegally, but they're very hard workers. They have not committed any crimes except crossing the border illegally. She villainized every single person, so the other side pounced big and attached that to how Trump feels. I don't believe Trump feels that way, but I think she would say anything just to get ahead. I honestly feel that. I've worked with people like that, male and female, before. I wouldn't trust her as far as I could throw her, sincerity-wise or any other wise.
Mary Beth, thank you. Very interesting. Let's go to Connecticut now, to Helen, line 5. Helen, welcome to the Dominic Carter Show.
Thank you very much, Dominic. I totally disagree with the woman who just you talked with, but that's not why I called. I think President Trump has just pulled a brilliant maneuver. He's had time to fire Kristi Noem. He hasn't done it. He has a lot of flack right now from the Democrats with regard to the Middle East. And funding for Homeland Security. But anyway, go ahead, Helen. So exactly right. So he is doing this to deflect. This is red meat, to the Democrats. And Kristi Noem, I think, was enthusiastic. I think that she did not want to, in quotes, deport everyone, although when someone crosses the border illegally, they have committed a crime, and which is unfortunately something that some people in this country don't even realize, or if they do, they dismiss it. But,
so, Helen, I hear you. I hear you, the argument that you're making. But what about the fact that the border, immigration, it was the top-rated issue for the president, and there was a possibility, especially going into the midterms, that it might not be that way as much anymore, and that it might turn out to be a liability?
Well, it's politics. He's always been clever with regard to politics, and this is, I think, do I have proof or anything else about what I'm saying? No, I don't, but it makes sense to me with someone who knows how to play chess, and he certainly does, which you've said yourself. I mean, he really is, he understands how to pull and when and what to do. And no matter what one thinks about what's happening in the Middle East, what he's done now, I think, is take the heat of that off a bit, because who does know exactly how long this initiative is going to take? We don't know.
Fair enough, Helen. You made some very good points there. Dominic Carter here with you, folks. A busy news day. The first cabinet secretary to be fired in President Trump's second term. It has happened. Kristi Noem at the Department of Homeland Security is out, and Senator Markwayne Mullin of Oklahoma is her replacement. We are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Kristi Noem's stewardship of the Department of Homeland Security, particularly the handling of the immigration uproar in Minneapolis, cost the Department of Homeland Security its funding, Kira. There have also been complaints by lawmakers in certain states over the way FEMA has operated and questions about readiness for natural disasters. Remember, the Department of Homeland Security has grown into this behemoth agency, but at its core, is its title. It is meant to protect the American homeland. It was born after the September 11th attacks, and it appeared many critics of Kristi Noem had felt that she had become a distraction in that mission, Kira.
That from ABC. Dominic Carter, back with you. Let's go to John, line 4, Long Island. John, welcome to the program. What's on your mind?
Hi, Dominic. I was just wondering, I have two questions if we have time. What do you think this is going to do for the image of our side now? When you had about 3 weeks ago, I think it was about 3 weeks ago, Ilhan Omar, demanding that Kristi Noem resign, and now she's the first one in the cabinet to be fired. Is it political?
You have to define with me when you say our side. What exactly do you mean?
The right, conservatives,
okay.
Donald Trump.
Okay, so if you think that Ilhan Omar is going to get any credit for this, that's not going to happen. She can claim whatever she wants to claim. That's irrelevant. As the last caller, I believe Helen in Connecticut said, President Trump is always playing chess. And so it's to take the focus off the agency. I don't see this as any way of victory for the left or for Ilhan Omar at all. What was your second point?
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't give her too much credit. I just know that they're going to be dancing all over this.
But she's a fool anyway. Who cares what she does? I mean, do you really sit around paying attention to what Ilhan Omar does? I would hope you don't.
No, my other question was about the senator that is proposing to nominate. I'm not familiar with him at all, and I was wondering, is he going to look as attractive riding a horse as Miss Noem?
That's not a serious question, but thank you for the call. He has been Senator Mullen has been very defensive of, and it's all in the eyes of the beholder. Who says she looks good riding a horse? That's your opinion. He's been defensive not defensive. He's defended the administration. He's been very articulate in doing so. It seems to me he's a good choice by going with a senator. They don't give their own too many problems when it comes to confirmation for the most part. Like Rubio cruised through. They're nominating one of their own. It's not an outsider. Confirmation shouldn't be a problem. And I think he's going to do a very good job at the agency in terms of heading the Department of Homeland Security. All you have to do is look at his career a little bit. I think he was a fighter, MA fighter, or MMA, whatever they call that. I got to double check that. I'm not so sure about that. But we see all of your telephone calls, folks. I've got to take a break. The number to reach me right now, 800-848-9222.
Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Breaking news.
And the news of the hour, President Trump announcing he's replacing the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, and says that he will nominate Senator Mark Wayne Mullen of Oklahoma as her replacement. Back to your telephone calls in a moment. This from the Fox News channel.
Statements that she made, and then most recently this week, her testimony on Capitol Hill, there were reports that her defense of her campaign, her ad campaign, $200 million in spending, that prominently featured her sometimes on horseback, claiming that the president, according to these reports, had approved of that, reportedly upset him. He wasn't happy about giving the impression that he had sort of authorized that amid this broader administration effort to root out fraud. So she's being moved now into another role. The Special Envoy for the Shield of the Americas, a new security initiative in the Western Hemisphere that they're announcing on Saturday. The president's been, defensive of Kristi Noem for the last several weeks as she's faced questions about her ability to carry out her duties. He regularly pointed to the success closing the southern border, the fact that there have been no illegal immigrants caught and released into the interior of the U.S. for several months, the fact that
So, and we do apologize that was cut off in the middle there. One of the things that I thought that was unfair this week with Kristi Noem, and I had planned on talking about this, is while she was testifying, and I just feel that male officials, yes, they face similar questions, but it doesn't seem to be that much of a sticking point. It doesn't stand out that much when she was asked point blank. And thank God, her husband, I believe, had walked out the room or went back to the airport to fly back home. When Kristi Noem, Secretary Noem, was asked if she was having an affair with Corey Lewandowski, I just thought that was so unfair that women officials, listen, and she called it garbage, which is not answering the question, but she just said it's something to the effect of it's garbage. But I just thought it was so unfair that she faced that. And I find that interesting that happened this week, and 48 hours later, she's gone. So Debbie Lebedo on my Twitter, on my X, says, @Dominic TV, unfortunately, politics, you are so correct about this, Debbie, is a blood sport, and the replacement of Kristi Noem is a good chess move by Trump. Agreed, Debbie. Debbie goes on to say, can't use logic or reason. 2 Americans died under her watch, and the midterms are coming is the reason. It's a power play to keep his Save America policies going. I think that Debbie is correct. And as far as Kristi Noem shooting her own dog, that was a controversy before she took the job, and she got past that. Patty says, Dominic TV, when dogs kill livestock, I didn't know that dogs kill livestock, but anyway, farmers shoot them, whether it's their own dog or a stray dog or stray dogs on their property. They have the legal right. If she didn't dispose of the dog and the dog got out and started killing neighbors' livestock, they would have shot it. Very common. I don't know, Patty. Maybe it's because we just don't hear about it, but it was something that, it was hung around her neck as an issue that she wrote about in her own book. So maybe you're correct, Patty, because if it was something that was negative in her mind, she would have never put it in her own book, but yet she did. Let's continue with your telephone calls here. Let's go to Teddy in Yonkers. Teddy, what's on your mind?
I have one thing to say to Kristi Noem. Get your hat, your coat, and get the hell out of town. And that also includes Mr. Comer, Mr. Jim Jordan, and Mr. Ron Johnson, because your time is near also. And I predict, that doesn't mean that I want it, but I still predict that the Democrats will win the House in the
right,
fall
and you
election.
predicted that Kamala would win the White House. Remember that, Teddy?
No, you put words. You're a liar. You're a liar. And I'll say that to you.
Dominic is done with you.
Let's go to Susan, line 4. And I'm not dealing with any more of your outbursts, Teddy. If you want to have an outburst, call another show. Why do you focus on me so much? There are a million shows out there. But you seem to focus on me. Are you obsessed with me, Teddy? What's up with that, man? Let it go, dude. Susan, Rhode Island, line 4. What's on your mind, Susan?
Dominic, what's on my mind is you're saying that, they treated her differently in front of the Senate in the hearing. But
in that one instance, wait. That's not what I said. I said I found it odd on that one instance because men are not treated the same way. When men do it, it's a wink, wink and a nod, nod. But when a woman does it, it's the end of the world. But go ahead, Susan.
Well, I agree with you there. But I'm also want to say that we haven't come that far with the way women are treated in politics or anywhere else. And it's pretty evident when every male caller that called you today could not get through the call without mentioning how Kristi Noem looked. Nothing.
Well, no, only one person, only that man that was borderline, whatever. mentioned that she looked good riding a horse. And I almost wish his call hadn't gotten through on the air, because this is not, to your point, Susan, this is not about how she looks. This is about her as the cabinet secretary that was in charge, or still is in charge until the end of the month, of the Department of Homeland Security. Thank you so much for the great call. Susan, I didn't mean to, did you have something else you wanted to say real quick?
No, that's fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you. And again, I'm only pointing out that, you know, okay, I'm not going to be politically correct. All right. I'm just going to put it out there. When men step out, we in politics, we know who stepped out in terms of their marriage. We know who they stepped out with. We know my exposure. I won't say which candidate. I can't say their title because it'll give it away. 1988, wet behind the ears. I don't know anything. I'm on the campaign trail in New Hampshire, and some of the senior reporters said to me, I can't say the title. They said, you see that one right there? Yeah. I see him. It's a famous face. See that woman standing right? That's the mistress. The wife is at home. But with men, it's a high five type. And I don't know what Kristi Noem was doing in her personal life. Okay, I'm just telling you, the only reason why I'm talking about this is because it came up during the hearing 48 hours ago about whether or not she was having an affair. And, you know, when men do it, we high five each other. But when women do it, you're called, can I say the W word, or a whore? Am I allowed to say that on the radio? Because I just said it. So, yes. So, you know, if a woman does it, you're a whore. And it's a double standard. It's not cool. Line 2, Judith in Brooklyn. What's on your mind, Judith?
First of all, I totally agree with Debbie Lebedo, because I wanted to say that I think it's got something to do with the midterm elections. It could be known has some sort of negativity. They could have had inside polling and the way she thinks. So for the sake of the midterm elections, Debbie is on the mark, I think. But I want to call you about something. And by the way, remember Mike Walls? Mike Walls did something, and they switched him, and he was assistant to the president, and now he's the United States ambassador to the United Nations. So he's giving Noam now some new thing to do. I have no idea. But let me ask you a question. Dominic, how is it racist to call someone a cockroach? How does that become racist? And bear in mind that Sid Rosenberg's father-in-law is African-American. How? How's that racist?
Oh, boy. I don't want to get caught up in this. And I just want to say up front that Sid, I don't know what Sid said this morning, if he said anything at all in terms, we know that he's apologized. Again, our schedules are polar opposite. So when Sid's on the air, I'm knocked out sleep. Okay. So I don't know, because, you know, I don't get home until 2:30 in the morning, and Sid's on it. You know, I get to sleep maybe 4:30. Anyway, I can only tell you that it's considered in the Muslim community to refer to them as an insect or something like that. It's almost, in some circles, considered like using the N-word against an African American. Now, I know Sid's heart. Sid didn't mean to go to that level. Sid, and I can only go by experience, Judith. Sid has never even cut his eyes twice at me. He's been, I go on how people treat me and I watch them. I've never seen Sid look down at anybody. He's always trying to lift people up, and, you know, he's a good person. And in my opinion, Sid doesn't have a racist bone in his body. I mean, you meet his wife, she's one of the nicest people that you could ever meet. You know, Sid, she was waiting for Sid. The last time I saw her was at the RNC about a year and a half ago, or whatever it was. Yeah, about a year and a half ago in Milwaukee. And she made the trip, and she's always pleasant, always nice. She doesn't talk about race. Sid has never talked about race in a conversation with me one time, Judith. So again, I'm not here as the morality police to explain what's considered racist, what's not, and so on. You know, the mayor took exception to it. It is what it is, Judith. Go right ahead before we wrap this up.
Okay, Dominic, just to say that his father-in-law is African-American. How is he racist in any which way? But I want to tell you something. They want him to apologize, but how's this?
why is not him, Mandami, apologizing? He never has for Global Intifada. Why is he not denouncing his father's condoning of suicide bombers? And CARE has been going after Sid. Why hasn't
Wait. Let's just break this up. The reason why Mamdani's not apologizing, he's the mayor of New York. If people had a problem with his positions, the time to take it out on Mamdani was at the ballot box. So it's almost affirmation to him of his beliefs that he was elected. And if you listen to him, you go around New York, there's no denying this, Judith. It's like Mamdani's like Michael Jackson in his heyday in the city of New York, which is very, very sad. The way they treat him like a rock star. But anyway, I didn't want to cut you off. Go ahead, and then I got to move on. Go ahead, Judith.
Thank you so much. I noticed that CARE also said apology, whatever. Meanwhile, they should apologize for rejoicing October 7th. That is way worse than Sid saying cockroach and jihadi and whatever when he doesn't mean anything bad the way you say. That's, Sid is Sid.
We are held to a higher standard as public figures, and that's no direct comment on Sid. That's me. That's anybody. So what am I trying to say, Judith? So sometimes callers will call up here and they try and bait me, right? And the first thing that you're taught as a talk show host in radio, on talk radio, this is the first lesson they taught me. Dominic, it doesn't matter what the caller says. The only thing that matters is what you say, because that's what's going to be in the paper. They're not going to focus on what the caller said. It's what you said. And so we have a higher standard as public officials, whatever term you want to use, Judith. But I'm just, the only thing Judith, you can't do this tit for tat thing. Well, if this one has to say sorry for this, how come that one's not? When does it stop, Judith?
Yeah, but you're talking about higher standards.
No. See, you just glossed right over I said and went to your butt. You got to know the moment you said but, that means I'm not really paying attention to what you're saying. I just want to focus on my point. Well, I mean, when does it stop? Well, I want this one to apologize for that. I want that one to apologize. When does it stop?
Well, you know what? It shouldn't even start. This should be a non-issue. Because if anyone has to talk about higher standards, why should you be held to a higher standard than CARE or Mandami?
Because that's an organization. The voters hold the public officials accountable. The people that vote, and you hold them accountable every time you go to the ballot box. And if you let them skate, then shame on you. So I'll conclude this by saying again, Sid has apologized. It's time to move on. The Sid I know, the man doesn't have a racist bone in his body. He has never told a racist joke. He has never made a racial comment. He has never made a racial slur in front of me. All the man does, all he has done consistently is try to lift me up and be a better talk show host. Time for a break. We are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And the Tunnel to Towers Foundation final thoughts of the day. I'm looking at my Twitter at Dominic TV. Liz Rosenblatt. Liz says, Teddy, no one talks to my Dominic like that. Unacceptable. Do the right thing. Please apologize. Liz, you're a sweetheart. I could care less if Teddy apologizes. Teddy is becoming unhinged by the day. Teddy doesn't understand. I'm going to be completely honest with you folks. Teddy doesn't understand that I play him like a complete yo-yo every single phone call. And he does everything that I predict him to do, raising my ratings and making a complete fool of himself consistently every single phone call. JL here. I'll just say his first name, Johnny. Oh boy. So Johnny was the guy that called up a little while ago to try making this stupid joke about sexy about Kristi Noem riding the horse. Is Mullen going to be as sexy as her riding the horse? Now his little feelings are hurt. He says, Hey, Dominic, I listen to your show every day, and I have called in frequently. I really appreciate you embarrassing me on the show today for making a lighthearted joke with you. That's a nice way to treat someone who listens to your show every day and night and is always polite to you. JL, I'm sorry. Your little feelings got hurt, but this is why, folks, you should leave the jokes to us, because oftentimes something that you think is funny is not funny at all. And frankly, JL, your comment was borderline sexist. Talking about how sexy she looks riding a horse. What does that have to do with her being secretary? I was trying to give you cover by getting off the topic quickly. You don't even realize that it was borderline sexist what you had to say. But you say you listen every day and night. Thank you for doing that. But JL, how do I know what you do? I don't know you. You listen to me on the radio. I don't know you personally. A lot of people, you folks, you'll call, you say, well, Dominic, the last time I talked, folks, I'm going to let you in on something on talk radio. I try my best to remember, but 9 times out of 10, we don't remember. Do you know how many callers we talk to? Let's see here. So Sergio in the Bronx says I'm off on a double standard. Let's see what Sergio's talking about. Line 2. Sergio, welcome to the Dominic Carter Show.
Hey, what's up, Dominic? You are the man. I love you. I just want to say it only applies, the double standard, to single people. If you're married and you cheat on your spouse, that's low for anybody. But when you're single, if you're a man, you sleep around, that's a difficult task. Females don't have it that difficult. They go to a bar, they have their cherry pick. Guys go to a bar, they strike out 1 out of 100 times. Sergio.
So why is it, whether you're married or not, now come on, let's be honest. Men, when you're stepping out, we high-five each other. Why is that?
No, I don't agree. I think if a man cheats on his wife, he's just as low as
okay, so men don't high-five each other.
I don't high-five. I don't know who high-fives on that.
All right. So why is it such an issue if a woman, what's good for the goose is good for the gander? I've been told that 1,000,001 times. But anyway, so Sergio, why is it such a big deal? Kristi Noem, why was it relevant to ask her that question?
No, I don't think it was relevant. I think the Congress and politics is off the rails these days. I don't take anything seriously anymore. I lost faith in everybody in the whole system. I was just making a lighthearted point that it's difficult for men. And you know that, Dom. We go out there, you strike out 1 out of 100 times. Girls do not strike out if they're trying to score. So I just want to say that's why it's a double standard.
Well, it depends. I don't have time, but it depends on how you define score. But I don't have time, and frankly, I don't want to know your answer to that, Sergio. Thank you for the call. Let's go to Nick, line 4, Rockland County. Nick, you got 25 seconds. Go ahead.
Hey, Dom, just a quick point. I think Trump is definitely playing chess with the Kristi Noem thing. And look at guys like Teddy. Look, he's supporting the fact that Kristi Noem is getting fired. And Trump is getting into people's heads on the left by doing this. So I think it would
President Trump, Nick, is always playing chess. He wakes up playing chess. He stays up late into the night playing chess. It's what he does. Folks, on America's darkest day, 9/11, America vowed to never forget. Help our nation keep that promise. Donate $11 a month to T2T.org. That's T, the number 2, T.org. Back at midnight.
Thanks for listening to The Dominic Carter Show. You can hear The Dominic Carter Show weekdays at 3 p.m. and Monday through Thursday at midnight and Sunday starting at 11 p.m. on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
At Manhattan University, a graduate degree is not out of reach. You'll gain real-world skills, credentials employers value, and connections to New York City's top companies. Choose from their new Master of Science degrees in healthcare informatics, digital marketing and analytics, business analytics, or financial analytics, all built around hands-on learning and industry partnerships. Graduate ready to lead, not just work. Take the next step at manhattan.edu/graduate. Manhattan University. Lead the future.